Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Super. Good morning. So, shall we start now? Hello. Hello, guys.
Yeah, yes, Mohiddin.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So, I got a call from house. That's why we delayed. So, I will use the online Google Collaborator, so it will be good for everyone to reach. So, where we stopped yesterday?
Hey, Mohiddin, your speaker, I think your headset is not real.
Yeah, am I audible now? Hello. Hello. Am I audible?
yeah, it's clear, but it's not that clear, Mohiddin. I
Okay.
think, yeah.
So, is it fine now?
Yeah, it's fine now.
Yeah.
Yes, better.
Okay. So yesterday we have seen DAR stuffs. So I have asked you to try, ask everyone to try that. So any doubts in that? So first we'll solve the doubts if you have anything, and then we'll move on. So say for example, we have seen names equal to.
சார் உங்களோட இது ஸ்க்ரீன் தெரியல சார்.
Screen தெரியலையா?
ஐ மீன் அந்த
என்ன தெரியல?
கமெண்ட் ரூம் தெரியல சார்.
இல்லை நான் கமெண்ட் ப்ராம்ப்ட் யூஸ் பண்ணல,
கமெண்ட்
நான் ஆன்லைன் யூஸ் பண்ணுறேன்.
ஓகே ஓகே.
ஸோ நேற்று ட்ரை பண்ணோம் பார்த்தீங்களா, அது ஏதாவது டவுட்ஸ் இருக்கா?
எனக்கு
நான் உங்களை பண்ண சொன்னேன் டிஇஆர்.
ஆமாம் சார். ஜிஃபில் மட்டும்
ஆ புரியல. ஹலோ.
ஜிஃபில் சார். லாஸ்ட்ல
ஜிஃபில். ஓகே, என்ன போட்டிருந்தாங்க அதில்?
அது வந்து அதாவது நீங்க தர அந்த ஆப்ஜெக்ட் வந்து லெஃப்ட் சைடில் போட்டு சொல்லுங்க.
So if you don't know something, I told you just use help to know what it is and how to use it and all. So just say help, what they're saying.
We can't see your screen, Mohiddin. We are seeing your WhatsApp, or I don't know what this one is. Some chat is what we see.
Yeah, that's correct. Yes.
I'm not using any chat at all. Maybe is it stopped?
But we could see your pointer moving on the screen, but
Okay.
it's not it's not the screen, I think, which you are displaying. It's your chat screen. Probably it's WhatsApp.
I'm not using WhatsApp. Okay, I will disconnect and log in once again, or what to do.
You can just unshare your screen and reshare it. So
Okay.
probably it may help.
Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, we'll start now. No problem right now. Hello?
Yeah, we can find your screen.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
And Mohittin, just a request.
Yeah.
Could you send the recording in normal Google Drive or something like that? You are sending in the YouTube thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. See, we can listen, but we cannot download.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it will really help. And whatever the videos you are recording, it will be useful
Okay.
to us.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
will give you the download link as well. Okay.
Yeah. Fine.
So I thought, so if we keep it as a downloaded file, it will be like a bigger size. So that's why I guess I kept it in a YouTube. So it
Oh,
will be good
okay,
for
okay,
everyone
okay.
else. Yeah. So you can access anywhere, anytime you want. And even YouTube app, I also have that download option. So you can see it later through YouTube.
Okay, fine. No problem. Yeah, as you think, but it's see whatever the points you are telling, it's really very important.
Yeah.
If we download and check afterwards, also it's really help.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you tried? So do you have anyone having that doubts in that attribute which you have we supposed to see yesterday? So I said Karthi said he has doubts in his fields. What do you understand, Karthi? It's not. Karthi is there? Hello. Hello.
ஹலோ
Yeah, Karthi சொல்லுங்க.
சார் அதில் பார்க்கும்போது அதில் என்ன இருக்குன்னா நம்ம தர ஆப்ஜெக்ட் வந்து லெஃப்ட் சைடு போர்டுன்னு சொல்லிடுறாங்க மூவ் ஆகும்.
Okay.
நம்ம தர ஃபில் கேரக்டர் வந்து சைட் சைடு வந்து ஃபில் பண்ணிக்கிட்டே வரும்னு சொல்லிடுறாங்க.
ஸோ அது என்னன்னா ஜீரோ ஃபில் பண்ணும் வித் ஜீரோஸ்.
ஓ
ஜீரோ ஃபில், அதான் ஜி ஃபில். ஜி ஃபில்னா இட்ஸ் நதிங் பட் ஜீரோ ஃபில். புரியுதுங்களா? ஸோ எப்படின்னு காட்டுமா? So now what they said, just check. They similarly what we have seen in center, they want your width. Okay. So say if your string has your string width is copy, say for example it is 6, right? Now I'm going to say name dot zfill. I'm going to pass 10 so that leading space is filled with zeros. Okay, this is called padding. So do you think why we need this? Do you want to know why we need this, or anyone know that? Anyone know that?
சார் உங்களோட ஸ்கிரீன் வந்து ஹாஃப் தான் சார் தெரியுது. ஹாஃப் ஸ்கிரீன் தான் தெரியுது.
ஹாஃப் ஸ்கிரீன் தெரியுதா? இல்ல நான் ஃபுல்லா தான் ஷேர் பண்ணிருக்கேன்.
இல்ல ஹாஃப் தான்.
In order to fill in, let's say that you are trying to fill in a table, let's say which has a field which has 10 or 15 length characters. That means that instead of filling it precedingly, you just fill it with zeros.
Yes. So correct. So what you said is correct. So in order to make properly like that lengthwise, we have to keep it in the same length kind of. That is what you're going to say, right? Okay, so I will explain in our cases. So we are in a VFX industry, so we will use to take images as an input, and we're supposed to work on it, and will produce as a video output. Okay, so there we will receive images like that, like plate one. Well, I will show you. It will be look like one image. Image name will be sequence 1, sequence 2, etc., etc., up to sequence 10, and then sequence 100 kind of. Got it? So here the problem is, so see, here my length is 4, and here it became 5, and here it became 6. So what will happen? I will keep it in a string. This will be a string. Okay. Karthi, இப்போ visible இருக்கா screen? கார்த்தி உங்களுக்கு விசிபிளா இருக்கா ஸ்கிரீன்?
சார் ஹாஃப் தான் சார் தெரியுது சார், மற்றவங்களுக்கு எப்படின்னு தெரியல, எனக்கு
So how about
for all of us it's the same thing. We are able to see only part of your screen because you have shared something less.
I don't think so. Let's see. Is it visible now?
sir.
Okay. Now இப்போ நான் ஸ்கிரீன் மாத்தன தெரியுதா இல்லையா? Hello.
Hey, yeah, we can see your screen completely now. Hey,
Yeah.
Mohiddin, one request to you. Just mute everyone when you take a class.
Sure.
Then you can ask everyone a doubt, not a problem. Okay, they
Okay.
can unmute and do it. And please speak in English. Okay, don't go to the in the Tamil. Why? Because it will be better for all. And then if you are recording, also it will be help tomorrow.
Sure,
Also.
sure. Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, please say, don't think otherwise. I'm sorry to all, but yeah, please go ahead and speak in English.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand, but yeah, please so
Sure,
that
sure.
it will be understood
ठीक है
everyone.
भाई, ठीक है भाई, कोई बात नहीं.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Okay, now so I'll tell you so why we need zfill. Okay, so here just assume we have a sequence, image sequence. Okay, so when you say dot sort is one of the method, one of the attributes, what we'll do now, so your sequence will be collapsed. So what, just see, it says sequence 1, sequence 10, sequence 100, and sequence 2. So what will happen? So if you want to convert your image sequence into video, it's supposed to be in an order, right? It's supposed to be in an alphabetical order. If order getting collapsed, what will happen? You won't get proper image, proper video footage, right? So the how sorting works. So in string wise sort will take a number. It won't be like a 1, 2, 3, 10, 11, and 100, etc. So it will be think like one series and 2 series, 3 series kind of. That is how string getting sorted. Understand?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why we supposed to use, say, if it is 1, we have to add a 0 before. So then it will become like I will say 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 100, 200. Okay, now when you say se dot sort, the order getting collapsed. Okay, to avoid this scenario, what we have to do, we have to use zfill. So I will use se. We'll see what this data type about in upcoming classes. This is called list. I'm going to use is dot zfill. So here is the maximum length is 3, right? The maximum length is 3. So I'm supposed to say 3. Then remaining will be filled with 0. Okay. Now I have to say AC dot sort. Now it is in order. Got it? Why we need zfill? Hello. Now you understand why we need zfill?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So Karthi, am I clear? So what do you have? Karthi?
Yeah,
Yeah.
clear.
Okay. So any doubts? Anyone else? So is that fine? I asked you to try everyone about DR stuffs. Seems you're not. So either tell me, so what do you want to learn, or so we'll go through that, and then we'll move on to next. Do you want to know anything specifically? So I will tell you the important stuff. Replace and split was one of the important thing which you're supposed to know that. I will first we'll see. So I will be quiet. So you're supposed to answer the question. So say help name dot or anyone try. I think remote control option is there, right? Okay, no problem. So I'm going to use replace. Okay. So you have to answer me what it is and what it's going to do. So try to learn yourself. So it won't be a problem for me to explain these things. But if I explain, I supposed to explain all the times. But I want you to learn yourself. Then only you will become a good programmer. So you won't depends on anyone else. That is what we want, because that is how we grown up. That's why I'm asking you to do the same thing. Understand? So try to understand what they are actually saying and tell me that. Anyone?
If you give an object, and if there is, let's say that, to give you an example, let's say if you have Karthik, and if you if you put it as an object and replace it with, let's say, with K with P and run it, then instead of Karthik, it becomes Parthik or something.
Sure, exactly. And then what is the third argument? Is it mandatory or optional?
It is optional because it is in square brackets. What it
Okay.
does is, let's say that, to give you an example, I don't know, let's say we use the object as loop, L-O-O-P. Then if you want to replace, how many O's do you want? If you want to replace only the first O with, let's say, I, L-I-O-P, then you just do it only once. And if you want to do it multiple times, that means that both L-O-O-P with I, that means that L-I-I-P comes. So how
Sure.
many occurrences of
Amazing.
the substring you would like to replace it?
Exactly. So it's an amazing explanation. Thank you, Shiram. So you are in line. Okay. So what is it? This will return a copy of a string with all the occurrence of substring will be replaced with new. So if you don't give count, it will replace all the occurrences. Okay. But if you give count, it will take the first, like if you say for example 4, it will take the first 4 occurrence. If you say 5, it will take first 5 occurrence. Understand? So as I said, we'll take a loop as an example. LOP. Okay, I'm going to say L dot replace O with capital O. What happens? It takes everything. If I say count, 1 means it will take the very first occurrence. So if I change it to now, it will be 1. If I don't, it will take everything. If I say a 4, it will take first 4. Got it? Understand? So what is replace and what's actually going to do?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any doubts in this? It is not fixed, so you can give part of the string. It is not limited with single character. Even you can give like if you say double O, you can say double O. What happens? Double O will be replaced with single capital O. Got it? So it should be a part of the string. That is the important thing. If it is not, it won't. Nothing happens. Okay. If it is part of the string, the replace will start effective. Otherwise, it won't. Okay. Got it? Any doubts, guys? It must be a part of the string. Otherwise, nothing happens. Got it? What is replace? Any doubts?
Yeah, good.
Okay. So, any doubts? I want you to practice. Otherwise, it is hard to. It is difficult to understand. So next, I'll say split. Okay. So split is nothing but as it is like cutting into pieces, like slicing is actually. So you have a fruit mango in your hand, you want to cut, right? So if you did a single cut, what happened? You will get two pieces. Similarly, if you don't give anything, it will take a maximum split. By default, it will take separator is a default separator is space. So say for example, I'm having a name Credo Systems. Okay, now I'm going to say name dot split. In that, by default, you don't need to pass anything. What happens? It takes a default separator is space. Okay, so just assume we are going to cut into pieces. So here is my first cut, here is my second cut, third and fourth. What happened? You will get 5 pieces because I'm doing 4 cuts. So you will get the result will be the total number of cuts plus 1. Got it? So if you give a separator, you need to pass it. Like I'm going to separate it using E. So here I'm cutting into here. This is my first cut. So you will get CR, and from DO till this is my second. And here I'm cutting second time. So we'll get from here to till this. And this is my third cut. Here till you will get something like that. And here's my fourth cut. And you will receive the rest of the stuffs. Got it? Understand what is split? So split is nothing but cutting into pieces. That's it. Slicing your words. Any doubts?
Thank you.
I can't understand name split E.
So
Name dot split
if
E.
you don't give anything, what is name?
The third one, name dot split bracket E.
What is name here?
Name Credo System located in Chennai.
I'm asking which data bit was. It is a string, right?
Yes.
That's it. Yeah. So split is a property of string. Okay.
Okay.
If you don't give any separator, I said we have to see. If you don't know anything, just go to check help document. Okay. So here it has a default values. You don't need to give anything. If it has a default, you don't need to pass. So here maximum you can pass 2 inputs. Minimum 0. Okay. So separator, it has a default separator is space. They will mention here.
A white space, which
Yeah.
is written in the last but
Yes.
one.
So
White
here
space.
is that white space. Okay. And then a maximum split means if you give you like a replace. If you want to limit, you have to pass. Otherwise, you don't need to pass anything. Okay. It will take maximum. It will take a most maximum. Okay. And then here I never pass anything. So my default is space. So here my first cut will occur. So you will get a Credo as a single part, and system is a second, and locate a third in 4, and Chen is a 5th one. Understand? If
Okay,
I
understood.
yeah, and then if you want to specific, you will get 3 cuts.
Okay.
Got it? If you
Yes.
want to pass separator, you need to give us which you need to pass the separator and then a count. So if you want 3 count is fine, just say 3. If you want 2, just say 2. You will get 2. There will be 2 cut will occur. You will get 3 pieces. Got
Okay.
it?
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And
And
if you
there
don't,
was in the example, Mohidin, there was a negative one. -1 was there. What is
yes.
that?
So we will see what it is, and so it is called indexing. So we'll see what it is. Okay. So once we finish with a string, and when we start to see data types, there we will see what is -1 and all. Okay. So even I will
Thank
make a
you.
note of it. Let's see the dimension. So this is called index. We'll see what it is. So -1 means till the end. Okay. So I will explain you in the details when we seeing the data types. And any doubts apart from split and replace? So once we're done with input, next immediately we'll start this indexing, what it is and all. And any doubts? Do you want to know anything?
It gave you pretty much the same result for all the first two of them. Is that expected?
Which one? This.
In the name split, you had -1 and -2. It gave you pretty much the same output.
Yeah, because it doesn't matches. So -1, -2 are negative indexing. +1 is the meaningful. So this will be
Okay.
ignored. This will be
Okay.
ignored. Okay.
Thank you.
So 1 means you're supposed to do single cut. 2 means 2 cuts. But -1 is a negative index, so it doesn't have any value, so it is ignored. Okay. So it got ignored. That's fine. We'll see what is indexing. And so any doubts? Shall we move on?
Sorry, just another quick
Sure.
suggestion.
Sure.
In my humble opinion, it is all right if someone wants to, even though I don't know Tamil,
Okay.
if someone wants to ask questions, because all of us are learners,
Yeah.
and it is not that all of us know English to the best extent where we can express ourselves.
Yeah.
So in case if any of us wants to, since you know a different language, and if someone has any
Cool.
doubts,
Sure.
it makes sense for them to get a deeper understanding of what it is in their native language.
Okay.
So it because I was comfortable, even though I don't have any understanding of what you guys speak, but I still feel that it should be all right for you guys to talk in your native language to explain someone, because all of us are learning from zero.
Okay.
So if they want to get a deeper understanding, it is all right. I don't mind.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Thanks a lot. Thanks for your suggestion. Okay.
Hey, it's not, I don't mind, yes, but, not in between. Like, if we should not
Yeah, got
miss.
it. It's not a
Yeah,
problem,
it's
man.
fine to,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
it's, I see, I'm not against such anything.
Yeah.
Just what I'm trying to, yeah, see, whoever, Karthik, yes, he can speak in Tamil.
Yes. No. Yeah. That is what I'm going
Not
to say.
nothing like that, but just don't go with that continue
Sure.
phase,
Sure. Yeah.
so
Sure.
what happens, if someone will understand, someone will not
Got
understand.
it. Yeah, I will explain. So sorry to interrupt. So if someone asked in some Tamil, because they might not comfortable English, but they will understand. Okay. So I will repeat the same in English and I will explain. That's my duty. So I will do that. No problem.
Yeah, that's fine. That's see, I'm not against or something like
Yeah.
that.
I understand.
Yeah,
Understand. No
please,
problem.
yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's move on to that. And in last class, we have seen a print statement. This will print what we have passed into it. Now we'll see how to fetch input from user. Okay, so here we're supposed to see a function called input. This is a built-in function we are going to see now. Okay, I will do some comparison. In print, we have seen two types of print, right? We have seen two types of print. What it is? Do you remember? So we're supposed to recollect everything once again, because otherwise we will forget it. So what we have seen.
Python 2 print, Python 3 print.
So what is the difference? So you know the difference, right? You know the difference, right? What it is. comparatively
Yes,
when
in Python 3, you can read it's an object and a function,
it is a function. Yes. Yes.
and you can redefine how you would like to, since it's an object, you can redefine it to do something else, or what do you say, reprogram a print in Python 3.
Okay.
But in Python 2, you cannot reprogram it, if
Yes.
if I'm explaining it correctly.
Okay. So in Python 2, it is a statement. It is a static instruction. You won't be able to override it. It is a fixed. So it will print what you actually passing into it. And in Python 3, they moved into function. It's a built-in function. Okay. It gives you more possibilities. Like you will give a separator, you will give an end as an input. Okay. It has a more possibilities, and if you want even more, you can customize it. Got it? Hope you understand. Okay. So if you have any doubt, just ask me, and we'll move on to input. Okay. So input is a built-in function which will help you to fetch user input during runtime. Okay. So now we have two different types of input when comparatively with Python 2 and 3. So let's see in Python 2. Okay. So this is my Python 2 terminal. So here I'm going to say input. Okay. In Python 2, we have two types of built-in function to fetch user input. One is a raw input, and second thing is input. Let's see what is the difference between both. Okay. Raw input is a, so supposed to mute. Okay. Sorry for that. And okay. So using this, this will help us to fetch user input during runtime. Say, enter your name. So this will wait for it, and let's see Dinesh. Got it? If you don't, so this is just an indication. That's it. If you don't, we never know whether you will think the program is actually still running. It is not like that. It is actually waiting for user input. That's it. You can see. That's it. This will fetch. Got it? So this is just an
Sorry,
indication.
we're not able to see your screen, Mohitan. I think it's in a different prompt.
It's changed. Sorry. I don't know why it's changed frequently. Okay. Now it's fine, right?
Yes.
Now? Yeah. Okay. So in Python 2, we have a function called raw input. This will actually fetch user input, and by default, you don't need to pass anything. Just say n is equal to. Okay. So here actually it is waiting. It doesn't mean it's running program. So it is still running. It doesn't mean like that. So this is actually waiting for user input. Just say something. Okay. The value will be stored into a variable called n. If you say print, this will be printed. Got it? It's a string format only. So raw input will fetch. So if you don't know, so what is raw input and what is going to do, just say help and ask help what they said. There is a prompt. Okay. So this will prompt. It's an optional, and it will be written as a string format. Okay. Read the input from the standard input. This is what raw input going to do. And in that prompt, it's an optional. If you say, if you want to indicate something like whether it is a name or age, say like that, this won't be recorded. This is purely for indication purpose. This will indicate user I'm asking your name. Okay, say Dinesh. And in my next line, just say age. Okay, so both age and name was stored. Clear? So this is a function which help you to fetch user input. So this is in Python 2. Okay. In Python 3, they have renamed raw input into input. That's it. Simple. Nothing else. So instead, if you say raw input, what will happen? I said raw input was not there in Python 3. They have renamed it as a input. If I say raw input, what will happen? I need your answer. Since what?
Syntax error.
Pardon? Pardon?
Syntax error.
How syntax error? Is it syntactically wrong? When syntax error will occur, when you say some reserved keywords, their syntax error will occur. Okay, is it raw input is syntax? Is it a reserved keyword? It's a built-in function, right?
Name error.
Name error, because Python 3 doesn't have raw input, but Python 2 has. Got it? Because Python will consider this as an object, because it is not there in, this is not a part of a reserved keyword nor part of a built-in. If it is not exist, Python will obviously throw an error called name error, because Python will try to understand this is an object. I said everything is an object. That is the Python rule. Got it? Just start to think everything is an object, then you got an answer. If it is resides in a reserved keyword, there you will face syntax error if it is wrong. If it is not resides in a reserved keyword, then obviously you will face name error if it is not exist. Got my point? Hope I'm clear.
Yes.
Any doubts? I will explain once again if you want.
Okay.
Right now it's in Python 2, right? That's
No,
the
this is
reason you are
Python. No, this is Python 3. I said just think everything is an object. Okay, if that name is resides in reserved keywords, you might face syntax error. Now this is not a reserved keyword, we all know that. So either it might be resides in a built-in names. I said it is not there. If it is not there in built-in, then it will raise name error, because the name is not exist. Got it? Am I clear? So how about Shriram for you?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so here the raw input concept was renamed into input in Python 3. So we have to use something like that. The same exact same one. Okay, the similar one.
Name error. You are sharing only the Python 2.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, please. So
Sorry,
this,
raw input.
yeah,
This,
so this help you to fetch user input during runtime. So if you are in preparing server side scripting, so there this will help you out. Okay, as like if you might learned in C, you might use scanf to read user input. In Java, you will use system.in. Okay, in C++, it is IOStream kind of, right? System.ln.
okay.
Yeah. So to fetch user input during runtime, there we're using input functions. This will actually read from streamlines. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And in Python 2, we have one more thing called input. Okay. So don't confuse. This is nothing. So just say help what they said. So input is actually written on top of raw input. That's it. What they're doing, they actually passing the output to eval. So eval is another built-in. Okay. So input is nothing in Python 2. What they actually doing, they will sending the raw input into eval. Why they actually sending it? We'll see. Okay. So just before I got two inputs. One is n, a name, and second thing is age. Okay. So which data type it was? This and this. Let's see who's going to say correct answer.
String.
So both are string format only, because raw input will written as a string. Raw input will return it as a string format. Okay. So actually you actually intend to fetch user input in a string integer format. So you know age must be integer, but actually you received as a string. In that case, instead of using
sir?
so raw input will return as a string format. Even it can be anything.
Okay.
You feed it something, but it is resides in the quotes, right? Here I'm saying 10. Age was a resides in quotes, so it is string obviously. As like if you say like this, okay. So in that case, what you need to convert it into integer like this. You need to convert into integer. Instead, we have a function called eval. Eval means evaluate. So what eval will do? So if you say something eval age, this will eval will eliminate the quotes. Okay. So if quotes eliminated, what happens? Your string will become integer. Got it? This is what that input actually doing, and you need to answer me. So here, if I say age, I'm getting integer. Let's check the data type. So type is int. Okay. Now in same case, if I say n, what will happen? I said eval will simply eliminate the quotes. Okay. So you all know.
Type error.
You all know that name n is a Dinesh. Okay. It is a string format. It has a quotes. If I remove quotes, what will happen? Your value will become variable. Okay. So Shivam said it's a type error. It won't be a type error. It will raise a name error. The reason is your value will become variable. So this will actually looking for a variable called Dinesh. If I say eval n, this will raise name error. Reason is eval will here the eval actually eliminating the codes resides both leading and trailing codes will be eliminated. So Dinesh eventually will become a variable. So initially it was a value. Now it becomes a variable. So it says name error. If I have a variable called Dinesh, now what will happen?
It will print hi hello.
Exactly. Because here your n, that is a string Dinesh turned, the string Dinesh turned into value, sorry, variable. So the variable holds something, right? This will print. Got it?
Sir, once again, tell me, sir.
Okay. So in Python 2, so this is a Python 2 terminal. Don't confuse. I'm just explaining what is input. So in Python 2, to fetch user input, we're supposed to use a raw input. Okay. To fetch user input, this will return everything into string format. Even it can be a number, float string, etc. Okay. This will print. If you say age,
Sir, one doubt.
yeah. Yes.
Sir, Python 2, this.
Yeah.
Yes. Python 3, same syntax.
நான் சொல்றேன் அது சொல்றேன். Okay, I will tell you that.
Okay.
Okay. So just
Okay.
in Python 3, we don't have something called raw input, but in Python 2 we have raw input. Okay. So raw input will return as a string format. Even it can be anything. So can you turn off mic? So once you asked, just please turn off. Okay. So in Python 2, this will return as a string format, but you want this should be a number, right? So for that you're supposed to use eval, or you can use there itself. Okay. Instead of that, so here just see it will be difficult, right? Because we're supposed to use two functions. Instead they make it as a single like this. Okay. If you say something, this will be written as an integer format. But if I say some text, what will happen? In Python 2, this is in Python 2. If I used input, what will happen?
Name error.
Name error, because hi is not exist. Got it? So if we use raw input, so this is equivalent to this. So this is equal to this. Okay. So first raw input will fetch user input and it will pass your input into eval. Eval will simply eliminate the codes. If we eliminate codes, your value, the string will become a variable. So the variable called hi is not exist. So it raises name error. So how it works in the case of number? In number, if you eliminate the codes, that value will still remain in a value because it becomes integer. It won't be a variable because you won't able to construct a variable with a number, right? So variable still it will be in integer format. But in case of string, if we eliminate the quotes, obviously your value will become a variable. Understand?
Okay, so raw input, string output.
Raw input, yes, raw input will return as a string. Okay.
Sir, what can be done if A is equal to eval of input, sir? Input of age.
It is not required. Why we need that? Because input already has, but we need in Python 3. We supposed to use this thing in Python 3. In Python
Okay, sir.
2, in Python 2 it is not required because input already has eval.
Okay.
In it. Okay. So we supposed to use the same thing in Python 3 because Python 3 input will return it as a string format like this. So here, so in Python 2 it is confused, right? That's why they removed that. If you want, you have to do yourself because this concept actually confused. That's why they removed this thing in Python 3.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So here,
Okay.
in yeah.
Can I just summarize what I understood? So
Yeah, sure.
in Python 2, you do have both raw input and input.
Exactly.
In the raw input, when you use the raw input, it takes the input as a string and stores it as a string.
Exactly.
But if you use input only, not raw input, but input only, then it clearly knows that it is going to be a numeric or an integer.
Not just integer, it's up to that. So it will simply eliminate the quotes. So it depends upon the nature. If it has a number, it will return as an integer. If it is a string, when you eliminate the quote, it will become
A variable.
Sir, I have one doubt.
exactly. So just wait. So you will let finish it.
Sir, I have one output. See,
Yeah,
inputs.
please.
So I have one doubt.
Ashik, please. Our கேக்கட்டும். Yeah, please, Shivam.
So thereby, okay, input when you give it as a string. Okay. In that case, it does know that it becomes a variable. Okay. Now what you have done is you have given it input as an age. So that means that the expectation, let's say that instead of giving 10, you give high. In that case, it will understand that it is a string and automatically assign that age. That means that A is equivalent to 10. That would be is that what it's, if you put 10 there and then print A, or no, TN when I meant, sorry. Yeah, if you do that and then output as A, what does A? If you, okay, that is all right.
Okay.
Hit
So
enter.
Yeah. If I press enter, what will happen? This will raise an error. Reason is this will try to evaluate. So it won't be considered as a string. This will become a variable. So we don't have variable called 10. So this will raise.
So it is equating. Okay.
Yes,
it is thinking that, okay.
Evaluating.
So if you would have given, let's say that, okay, this is all right. Now let's say that you go and say that 10 is equivalent to, let's say.
Exactly.
Something.
So this is equal to this.
Yeah.
This is equal to this. Got it. Now again, you will get the name error again because we don't have something called 10. Now I'm going to say 10. Now what will happen?
It will equate.
So if I print A,
then it will come as 10.
1 0.
Yeah.
That's it.
Fair enough. Thank you.
Thank you. So how about in Python 3? Okay, we don't have a concept called raw input. So we have a concept called raw input in the name of input. Okay. Ashik, please ask your doubt. It's your turn.
Sir, not input. A is equal to input, not age. One string value.
நீங்க உங்களுக்கு கஷ்டமா இருந்துச்சு தமிழ்ல கேளு, நான் ட்ரான்ஸ்லேட் பண்றேன்.
ஓகே, ஸ்ட்ரிங் வேல்யூ அசைன் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
ஸ்ட்ரிங் தான் பைத்தான் 2ல சரி 3ல சரி ஸ்ட்ரிங் தான், பட் பைத்தான் 2ல மட்டும். சோ இன் வாட் யூ ஆஸ்க் இஸ், சோ டு வி ஸ்டோர்ட் இன் ஸ்ட்ரிங், ரைட்? அதானே கேக்குறீங்க?
எஸ் சார்.
Okay, so this is completely for string, okay, in Python 3. Okay, so this is purely for string, that's it. So here when I stored integer, this won't be considered as an integer, it will be considered as a string only, because that is how input was built, okay, in Python 3. So this is a Python 3 terminal. So even I will execute here if you have doubts.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
சார் இப்போ ஏஜ் இண்டிஜர்னா இண்டிஜர்னு காட்டுமா சார்?
ஆமா,
நேம் அசைன் பண்ணனும்னா
அதுதான் நான் இல்லன்றேன். That is what I said, it won't, it will be string.
ஓகே
That is what I want. So please do practice, okay?
ஓகே.
So if I say this is Python 3 get input, okay, it will store, and if you check,
Moitin, could you please put your Python 3 and Python 2 side by side?
Okay.
Yeah, why? Because we don't know which screen we are seeing actually.
okay, got it. So this is Python 2. So I hope you understand this thing. Now I move on to Python 3. Okay. Here. So in this case, if I say input, this will return, even I pass a number integer, this will be considered as a string only. If I say string, still it is string. Still it is string only. Okay, and you can use eval on top of it. Say eval of a, you will face this similar error. Say 10 name error, 10 is not defined. So declare
I'm not. We are not seeing your screen.
okay, sorry.
Screen is just hang, I think.
Now is it visible?
Otherwise, what do you do? Just keep a color difference. Just this is you are taking as take a different color. So
Okay.
probably.
Okay. So this is just the black screen is my Python 2. Hold on. Okay, the black screen is my Python 2, and this is my Python 3. Got it? You face the difference? I'm using online terminal, so this is Python 3. Piyush, is it clear now? Hello? Hello?
It just shows the one screen actually. It's probably you are using a different tab or what?
Yes, maybe that I'm facing a redundant issue. I think it's not good in.
Yeah. Now we see the different screen.
Okay, so this is Python 2 and this is Python 3. Okay. So this is, are you seeing my Chrome? No.
Just check with some other, Shivram, do you see any other screen? Like, it probably my problem or something. Yeah, now I can see the, your browser.
Okay, yeah, this is Python 3 terminal. Okay, so here I'm going to say input, it is in string format, and then still you can use eval. So eval is, you can use eval in both Python 2 and Python 3. Okay, so eval is a built-in function which will tell you, so which will actually convert your input in, this will actually try to evaluate your user input, means this will simply eliminate the codes which reside in it. So if it is a number with quotes, what happened, your string number will become integer. Okay, and if it is a string, if we eliminate the quotes, what will happen, your string will become a variable. The variable must, the variable must be exist in it, otherwise this will raise a name error. Okay, now let's say, now I'm going to say instead of age 10, I'm going to say string integer, sorry, string. Okay, what happens it is print and it says a name error, name 10 is not defined. Okay, so if we define, it won't be a problem. Let's say 10. Okay, now the name is exists, right? So if we evaluated, this will work. Got it?
Yeah, got it.
So
So
in Python 3, we don't have a concept, we don't have a name called raw input. Instead, we have only input.
okay, got it.
So any doubts? So we'll move on to data types. Shall we? Okay. So we'll move on to our data types in Python. So do you know any anything which you know about data type? What is data types? Any idea? Any idea? What is data type? What is data
The
type?
integer, string, and float and other things are their data
Yes.
types.
So these are the example for data types. Data type is nothing but a nature of your object, right? So you know object. What is object? It is a state and behavior. Okay, means if it is a number, we can able to perform a numerical calculation. If it is a string, we can perform string relevant operations. Okay, so this is called an object, that is states and behavior. So based on its nature, the nature of an object is called a data type. Okay, we know I said everything is an object in Python. It can be a number, string, etc. Those are the examples of object. Okay, we supposed to categorize into which type it was. That is data types, a nature of your object. Got it? What is data type? It is nothing but nature of your object. So have you understood what is data types? So data type is nothing but a nature of your object. So here we have categorized into two types. In Python, we will categorize data types into two types. One is mutable data types. So one is called mutable and second is called immutable. Okay, so what is the difference between mutable and immutable? A mutable data type means if you define, it allow you to modify through its based on its position, called that is mutable data type. And immutable means once you define, it won't allow you to modify. Got it? So this is called mutable and immutable. Let's start with immutable. So today is an introduction about data types. We'll see in brief from next class, from tomorrow. Okay, so immutable means once you define, it won't allow you to modify using its position, or it's a position, or it won't simply don't allow you to modify. Okay, examples are string, integer, float, and tuple, and then frozen set, etc. Okay, so these are the mostly used data type was residing under immutable. So I'll just give you an introduction about mutable and immutable. Let's see, we'll see in brief from tomorrow. Once you define, it will allow you to modify using its position. Okay, examples: list, dictionary, set, etc. Okay, so we'll start with string. Do you have any doubts how string is immutable? We know a is equal to we did already like a name. Okay, I'm going to say Shivram. Now say name dot upper. What it returns? What it will return? It will return a capitalized version, right? Uppercase of your name, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But still I says string is immutable means once you define, it is defined, you won't able to modify, but you can reassign is different, means you are actually reallocating, you are actually deleting the previous one and you are reassigning once again. Okay, that is different. But I said once you define, it is defined, you won't able to modify. But here you noticed that you got a capitalized version of it, right? But when you check your name, I'm going to say print name, see, it is still Shivram. Got it? I will explain how it is. Okay, so we know, we all seen DR for your name. Okay, so in that DR, in the help section, name dot upper, what they said, just check 1 second. It returns a copy of a converted version. Have you noticed that word copy? Got it? So those function will return a copied version, not so it won't reflect in source. Understand? So whenever using attributes in a string, you will get a copied version of your input. It will never reflect in a source. Got it? Any doubts? That's why.
Sorry.
Yeah, please.
In the name, if you go to the Python 3.
Yeah, it's
where you
Python
have
3
given
only.
the-
This is Python 3 only. Yeah.
Okay. So here, name.upper is there. Let's say that name is equivalent to name.upper. Can you
Exactly.
declare it that way?
Yes. So if you want, it's supposed to be reflect. You see, you have to say something like that. That is
Okay.
what I said. You won't able to modify, but still you can overwrite. Override is different because you are actually reallocating the memory. So here I'm actually reassigning it, right?
Yeah.
So this is possible. So here you will get the copied version. I supposed to use it here as like a mathematics. So if you're doing something and if you say x plus 10, will it reflect in x? No, right? We have to do x is equal to, right? Similar. That's why integer also immutable. Once you say x is equal to 10, if you say x plus 10, what happened? You will get 20, but it will never reflect in x. Okay, so you have to reassign it. Okay, that's why it's called immutable. Once you define, it is defined. That's it. You won't able to modify. Immutables means it will never allow you to modify your user inputs or your object. So immutable data types means a data type which will never allow to modify. Got it?
So is that only with respect to the data type?
Correct.
As well or the, what do you say, what we assign it to, both of them? Or I will anyway, I'll read the definition of a mutable and immutable.
Okay.
But,
okay. So this is only with specific data types: string, integer, float, tuple, and frozen set. So this is an introduction. We will see in brief tomorrow. Okay. So I want to let you know what is mutable and what is immutable, the difference. Okay. So mutable means I will showcase you that similar thing in a mutable section. Okay. So here in next part, we are about to see. So here example for mutable data type, that is list. I'm going to use the same one, Shivram in it. Instead of that, I'm going to say SH I V or A. Yeah. Okay. So this is a list version of your name. Okay. Here, so we'll see what is listed out tomorrow. I'm just explaining what is mutable. Okay. Here, if I want to change something like, okay. Now let's see what happens. Before, after. Have you noticed? So the case was changed. So this is called modification. Okay. So here I can able to modify based on its position. So I never reassign everything. I just simply replaced a single character. This is called mutable. So this is not possible with string. So here I can apply the same logic here as well in a string. Let's say instead of upper, I will do this thing. Okay, so before name. So I will get error here itself. It says name of 0. It will say which type error will occur. Any guess? I said if data type doesn't support the property, then it will be
Type error.
Type error. String object does not support item assignment. It will say that like that. Okay, you will get error here itself. String object does not support item assignment because string is immutable. You won't be able to modify using its position. So here I'm trying to modify using my position. String doesn't support that. If you want, you need to reassign completely. You need to reassign it completely. Then only it will works. Otherwise it won't be. If you want to change the single one, what you have to do? Just say capitalize version or name of 0 dot upper plus rest. Okay, now it will works. Here I'm actually reassigning it. Got it? I'm completely reassigning it. So we'll discuss in detail what it is and what is 1 colon, what is 0 and all tomorrow, because we're supposed to see. So this is string is index based. String is a position based data type, and it is called indexing. We'll see what is indexing and all tomorrow class. Okay. So have you understand what is data types and types of data types? So I just explained a given description about it. We'll see in detail tomorrow. So any doubts in it?
சார்
Yeah. Yeah,
சார்
please.
இம்யூட்டபிள் வந்து நம்ம வந்து ரீஅசைன் பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
Reassign பண்ண
பட்
முடியாதுன்னு
மாடிஃபை பண்ண முடியாது.
reassign, yes, correct, exactly. You can able to reassign using equal to, but it won't allow you to modify using its position. Position means that like a zeros kind of. Okay, that's it.
ஓகே சார்.
But in
ஸோ
possible
மியூட்டபிள் வந்து மாடிஃபை பண்ணிக்கலாம்.
yes,
நம்ம
modification allowed. We'll see in details tomorrow. This is an introduction about data types. We'll see in details tomorrow. Okay,
Okay,
so
sir. Okay.
hopefully you have an access into this link. I will share the link as well, so you can directly use it online. Let's try. If you have difficulty, just please ask me. I will share you the link. Okay, so rest we'll see tomorrow. So any doubts, guys? Do you have any doubts? Any doubts, guys?
Nothing as of now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll see tomorrow. Thank you for thanks for your time, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.